What's going on, everyone? So, the Robert Williams and Los Angeles Lakers saga just continues. The Los Angeles Lakers are interested in trading for Robert Williams, that the Portland Trailblazers and Lakers have had conversations about it. So far, nothing has materialized. Lakers are also interested in Matisse Thybulle. So we've talked about, can something work out where you get both of them? I don't really like the idea of trading just for Robert Williams, just because you'd have to trade Connect in that. And I just think Connect has more value than a 20 games a year Robert Williams, right? But if you can get a Matisse Thybulle and a Robert Williams, I think it's worth the risk. I think it's worth kind of taking a chance on, because if, Matisse Thybulle and Robert Williams, they can stay healthy, that would be huge for the Lakers, and really kind of solidify what this team needs as far as defense, interior size, all of those things. However, the Lakers are, based on reports, no longer alone in the pursuit of Mark Williams, which, of course, causes issues because it potentially drives up the demand as well as the price. But according to reports, the Golden State Warriors and the Milwaukee Bucks are reportedly eyeing the athletic big man, which, again, could bode some concerns for the Lakers, because, now, is this coming from Portland? Right? Is this something where Portland's like, hey, you know who really wants Robert Williams, Lakers? The Golden State Warriors and the Milwaukee Bucks? Or is this really interest from these two teams? You see it all the time. Like, teams will kind of leak out reports, and it might have been something where, like, the Warriors just called and were like, what do you want for Robert Williams? Like, we're good, right? It might have just been that, and they're moving on. Not just that, but the Warriors have the Jonathan Kuminga situation that they got to figure out before they do anything else. And if they trade Jonathan Kuminga to the Suns, they're supposed to get Nick Richards in the deal, so they might not need Robert Williams anymore. So, again, there's a lot that can still unfold and unravel in this situation. But if I'm being honest, both the Warriors and the Milwaukee Bucks do make sense for Robert Williams. I think Robert Williams, to either of those teams could really have an impact for those teams, just like he would the Lakers. Now, if Robert Williams prefers the Lakers over those teams, then, he can give a nudge, especially with Marcus Smart now on the team. Him and Robert Williams have a good relationship. So, Marcus Smart calls up Robert Williams and is like, hey, kind of push your way, you got these three teams interested, push your way to the Lakers. If he was to come out and say something like, hey, I'm leaving in the offseason unless I can go to Lakers because I want to go play with Mark Smart, change something. But usually that's kind of the star guys. But nonetheless, it's a possibility. But again, according to Clutch Points, the race is on for Robert Williams, and some of the NBA's most prominent contenders want in. The Warriors, Lakers, and Bucks are all reportedly eyeing the athletic big man, hoping his elite rim protection and vertical presence can push them over the top. After battling injuries in recent seasons, Williams is once again drawing serious interest, and a move could be on the horizon. With his mobility, shot blocking, and above the rim play, it's no surprise he's becoming one of the hottest names on the trade market. The only question is, who is willing to make the first move, right? So again, how much of this is just the Lakers are the team that's trying to get him? Lakers are a favorite to land him, and the Blazers are throwing out teams to kind of incentivize the Lakers to maybe make a push. Supposedly they've had conversations, stuff. Again, at the end of the day, to me, it boils down like, can you get Matisse Thybulle? Right? Because if it's just Robert Williams, then I'd rather look other places. Right? Can you go get a Nick Richards? I wouldn't even mind if the Lakers wait for a Nikola Vucevic. Right? Now, originally it was thought that Nikola Vucevic would be bought out during the season. However, with the restrictions in the aprons, that it's looking like that he will end up being bought out in the offseason. Right? Because he'd just be a lot more limited. He wouldn't be able to go to a contending team. Most likely he'd have to go to one of the bad teams, more likely than not. So he would prefer to get bought out in the offseason if he's going to get bought out. But we'll see. Time will tell. Nonetheless, right? If it's just Robert Williams and you have to give up Dalton Connect and a Maxi Kleber, or Dalton Connect and a Gabe Vincent, like, yes, losing Gabe Vincent, losing Maxi Kleber for Robert Williams, if he's healthy and can give you more than 20 games, then yes, that's more impactful and that's beneficial. Even Dalton Connect, like if we knew Robert Williams was going to play 65 games and be healthy come playoff time, sign me up. Do the trade right now, get it done, and let's go. Right? But problem is we don't know that, and it's too much of a risk for the Lakers to trade, Dalton Connect, who reports have said that he's kind of lost some trade value, but he's still more valuable than Robert Williams. Why? Because he's available, right? Like the best ability is availability. He's young, he's available. He just needs the right place. There's always going to be that team that thinks we can do better. If we trade for him, he's going to light it up for us type thing. Right? And especially the Lakers might be better off just kind of going into the season, letting him play some minutes, let him get a couple 30-point games under his belt, and then go like, see, don't you want him type thing, if the only option is Robert Williams. Again, I think Lakers need to trade Dalton Knecht this year. I just think the relationship is squandered. I think it's too late to turn back now at this point. I think best for Dalton Knecht is to get off of him. I think best for the Lakers is to trade him. But I just don't think Robert Williams alone is the best allocation of assets for the Lakers. I'd rather just trade him again for a young center, or like I said, a Nick Richards or something like that, because Phoenix used him shooting. So it's like, hey, you got 15 centers. What do you think? And you pull something like that off, even if it's just a swap, because at least Nick Richards is healthier, right? You can play the role, and then now you got that backup. Or again, like I said, save the assets, wait for Nikola Vucevic, or potentially another center. We'll see who ends up getting bought out. There's still reports and rumors about all kinds of guys potentially being bought out. But my point is, just be patient. Wait, see what happens, or go into the season and wait for that right trade to present itself to where maybe you can end up landing a big man. Maybe you can't get Nick Richards right now, but maybe at the trade deadline, because he's not getting minutes and he's frustrated and wants out, maybe now it's a better option and the Lakers can pull that off. So I don't think it's something you have to rush. Now, if you can get Matisse Thybulle, then sure. Because the thing is are the Warriors or the Bucks? I mean, Bucks, I don't even think they have the assets, but are those teams going to... are the Warriors going to give up a first for Matisse Thybulle and Robert? I don't even think they want Matisse Thybulle. Robert Williams. No, right? They're not. So, okay, what's the highest that they would go? Okay, maybe they'd go with one of their young guys, or they go with a Trace Jackson Davis, maybe, and maybe that would be interesting. But the whole point is they need to get off of big men, not add big men, right? So, okay, who is the Warriors willing to give up and part with? And what, are they willing to give up seconds? Okay, how many? 2 seconds? 3 seconds? Is that worth more than Dalton Knecht? Probably not, right? Okay, well then, what is Dalton Knecht's value to a team like Portland? Is it worth throwing in a Matisse Thybulle, right? How does Portland perceive what the returns are, right? But again, I like the idea of Robert Williams, and if he just had one season in the last 2-3 years where it was hey, yeah, last year it was rough, but look, the previous year he played 77 games, right? So was this an outlier? Was this a normal thing? Then I'd be sure, but he's had one season in which he's played 61 games, and then the 3 years after that, all 3 years have combined to be 61 games. I just think it's too much of a risk. I'm not against bringing Robert Williams, but it has to make sense, right? Again, and I'm somebody that doesn't mind overpaying if it makes sense, but I don't think Robert Williams is one of those guys that makes sense to overpay for because of his injury history. If he was a guy if Portland was in the situation where Robert Williams was really good, he was basically a double-double guy off the bench, and in 65 games a year, and it wasn't an injury issue, right? It was just solely hey, he's an expiring contract, he's going to leave unless we trade him. Then yeah, I'd pony up what you need to pony up and go get Robert Williams, because he's exactly what this team needs, right? Sign me up for that. But the problem is it's not the situation that they're in. They're in this situation because, yes, that, but also he only plays 20 games a year, right? And is he going to be healthy come playoff time? If Robert Williams is healthy, and if Robert Williams is able to play, he's exactly what this team needs. Big, strong, physical, mobile, can be a lob threat, right? Get offensive rebounds, one of the best offensive rebounders, right? He's a guy that just bull in a china shop, adds some toughness, some physicality on the inside, can bang with the big boys, be a guy that you can throw at all these various, opposing players, especially in the Western Conference. Just think of how just stacked the West is with just centers, right? And quality in centers, right? Having a Robert Williams, I think, would do a lot for this team. But if the Warriors are willing to pony up a bunch, I just think if you're the Lakers, you stay out of it. Trade him to the Warriors, right? Go try to get Matisse Thybulle by himself. Can you do Gabe Vincent and Dalton Knecht for Matisse Thybulle? At least you're opening up a roster spot, right? At least you're clearing salary to bring in a guy or two, right? Because then now at that point, it's not just, okay, we're bringing in, Matisse Thybulle. So you're bringing in Matisse Thybulle plus potentially a Nikola Vucevic if he gets bought out, or, another guy if he ends up getting bought out, whoever that is, right? So to me, it now becomes more arguable, more justified, or maybe it's an Al Horford, right? Where if you're trading, Gabe Vincent and Dalton Connect for Robert Williams, that's it. Like, yeah, you're freeing up a roster spot, but you're kind of limited on what you can do. I don't even think that frees up enough cap space in order for the Lakers to sign another guy, because they're like, what are they, 1.1 under the apron? And I think Dalton Connect and Gabe Vincent would give you, I guess it'd give you close. I think it'd be you'd be at like 2.7, something like that, after the trade, or a little under. So certain guys could, on a vet minimum, could be that. But my point is like, again, he's too much of a risk to warrant it. If Milwaukee is willing to pony up whatever they need to pony up, then good luck to you. The only way we have to worry about it is if we see you in the finals and if he's healthy, right? Same thing with the Warriors. It's like, hey, if you want to overpay for Robert Williams, then good be you, and we're just going to go over here, right? Like, I think the Lakers need to just stay the course if that's the case. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.